As a caregiver who is leaning into their leadership ability, you do the exact same thing. It allows you to take a bird's eye view of your caregiving life. You see the doctors, you know their role in it, you see your loved one there, you know all the data that's in front of you, but who is the person that's driving the ship? Who gets to make the most important decisions, especially if you have a loved one who can't participate in making those decisions? Well, that person is you. And I want caregivers to feel empowered, not to leave the responsibility solely up to doctors. We've heard so many horror stories of caregivers who trusted the doctor to make all the decisions. Well, doctors have some really unique skills, and they have information that you don't have about the medical field and treatment plans, but they don't know your loved one. They don't know, how they slept last night, what they ate last week, who they were around, their behavior at home. You have that information. They don't know maybe their wishes or desires. You know that, and the values that you have. And so seeing yourself as the CEO or the one in that leadership role allows you to advocate from a different place where you don't feel like you're always, uncertain and there's things are happening to you. I remember that was one of the things that really irritated or I hated the most about being a caregiver was the uncertainty. And when I decided that I was going to start driving the ship, that doctors needed to, they in a sense worked for me. And if I had a question or a concern, it deserved to be heard and I deserved to get an answer. Things started to change. And I remember time after time when I would show up and say, no, I need to know what's going on. They treated me differently. I felt like I got more respect. I felt heard because I demanded to be heard. Decisions had to be made, and how was I going to make them unless I understood? I would go into doctor's appointment visits with my husband, and I'm not leaving this room until I know the answer. I
Mm.
mean, I need to know what's going on. And if I was in the emergency room and I wasn't, emergency rooms can be a horrible place for advocates because there's so much going on. There's so many people in a lot of pain, a lot of chaos is going on there. It's usually late at night. It doesn't happen during the day when you have all the time in the world to go to the emergency room. No, it's going to happen in the middle of the night when you have to spend 10, 12 hours and you're exhausted and you're in the emergency room. Well, if you go in with a plan, it can go a lot easier. I had made up my mind I wasn't going to spend so much time in the emergency room before I started making phone calls. And I would call his doctor, the doctor on call. I would call hospital administration. Somebody was going to help me move through this process because my husband, he needed care and I'm there to fight for him. And I know there were other people in the hospital also needing care. My responsibility was him. And I was very clear about that. And this is not in a aggressive manner, being rude or disrespectful. It was being honest and assertive and operating as the person in charge.
If you just enjoyed that video, check out the longer version right here.